ביאור משנה י"א, the explanation of משנה י"א. במשנה הקודמת למדנו, in the previous Mishnah we learned, שאין צולים בשר על גבי האש בערב שבת. That you do not cook food or cook meat on fire on Friday. אלא אם כן יש שירות ביום שיצלה בשיעור ראוי לאכילה. Only if there's enough time in the day that it's going to be at least the third cooked. והטעם הוא, and the reason we gave, שהנותן בשר על גבי אש כדי שיהיה נצלה והולך משתחשך, that somebody who gives fire, a flesh on a fire, that is going to be continuously cooked throughout the time, גזרו בו חכמים, there's a decree by the rabbis, שמא יבוא לחלות בכחלים. We are afraid maybe he's going to touch the coals because it's not finished cooking. כדי להחיש את הצלייה, so that he's going to hurry up the cooking process. You know, everybody who does mangal in Israel all the time goes like this. This is hurrying up the cooking present. Yeah, to make the flame, yeah. משנתנו בא ללמד, for Aryeh it's just theoretical, you just saw it, you never participated in it. משנתנו בא ללמד, our Mishnah comes to teach, שבחבורה, what do you do? The question is on Pesach. On Pesach, that happens to be on a Friday. Actually, Pesach happens to be on Shabbos, right? So you need to bring the korban, you need to prepare it from Be'erev Pesach, from Friday. So now, on Friday, what did you do with the korban Pesach? שבחבורה הנמנית על קורבן פסח, it tells you, when it comes to the sacrifice of the Pesach sacrifice, וכן בכהנים, and also כהנים, just in the regular Friday, every regular Friday in the temple, הואיל וזריזים הם, since the Kohanim and the
Korban of Pesach, that you have to do it fast. another cut.
So over there, לא גזרו בהם חכמים שבע יבואו לחטות בכחלים. Over there, there's no decree, you can do it beforehand, and there's no decree that the sages says. In other words, we're not worried you're going to touch the coals. And now we have to understand why you don't have to worry that you have to touch the coals. It's the same thing. Let's see. משלשלים את הפסח בתנור עם חשיכה. Oh, you've never seen, you've seen it probably. I don't think that you've ever seen it.
שבוע יש לו כזה תנור.
I don't know, I don't think he has.
למעלה, משלשלים למעלה.
Yeah. But how you going to cook this is for breads. How you going to cook meat on it?
כן, meat גם.
How do you do it?
אתה שם משהו, ואתה...
מוריד את זה למטה.
Yeah, so it's a similar thing. Yeah. What they used to do, they used to take the keves, they used to put like a chanit בתוכו, a split inside it, and stick it like this on the top. Yeah.
עשיתי חצי כבש עשיתי.
Like this, with a stick? We're exactly the same. Yeah. Exactly in Pesach. משלשלים את הפסח בתנור עם חשיכה. You're allowed to put the Pesach sacrifice in the oven with the darkness. In other words, even a couple of minutes before. התנורים שלהם היו כמו קדרה. Their ovens were like a pot. פיהם למעלה, the mouth was on top. ומורידים לתוכו את הבשר לצלייה. And they used to descend into it the meat for cooking. וזהו ששנינו כאן משלשלים את הפסח בתנור, and that's what we said, you bring down the Pesach sacrifice in the oven, כלומר שאם ערב פסח חל להיות בערב שבת, that if ערב פסח, that if Pesach happens to be on Shabbat, you need to bring the sacrifice ערב שבת on Friday, מותר להוריד את בשר קורבן הפסח, you're allowed to bring down the flesh and the meat of the Pesach sacrifice, בשפוד התחוב בו, with a stick that is stuck into it, לתוך פיו של התנור, into the mouth of the oven which is on top. אפילו סמוך לחשיכה, even very close to darkness. Why? כדי שיהיה נצלה והולך משתחשך. In other words, it's going to be, the cooking procedure is going to happen to it while it's still Shabbos. It's not even cooked the third yet, but we still allow you. לפי, it says, why is it? It says, שבני החבורה הנמנים על הפסח זריזים הם. Because it says people are alert during that time. See, when you cook by yourself, on Shabbat, you might be just the wife at home, just the husband at home, and even if they're just the wife or there's more than two people at home, in the kitchen there's only one person. And there's no one to remind you, hey, you're going to come to touch the coals. Over here, how do you eat the Pesach sacrifice? Families. Yeah. And if not even just one families, sometimes it's 2 families or 3 families that have to eat the one Korban Pesach because they have to finish it. So you have over there, in the cooking process, how many people are there?
It's not a good answer.
Wait. You're going to see soon. You're going to have how many people over there? 30 people.
Yeah.
ויזכירו זה לזה ששבת היום. Everybody is careful because they know it's Shabbat, and everybody, in other words, what's the thing? No, it's not Moed. Oh, so let's understand. So the rule is, let's understand the rule. If there's something to remind you that it is Shabbat, then we are going to allow you to do it.
So in other words, if I'll take Erev Shabbos, 2 family, I tell him, come, let's do, I'll go to his, then I can do it too like them.
Logically,
I tell him, remind me Shabbos, guys.
Logically you can.
Logically, no.
Logically you can, and that's what we do today.
But it's not permitted.
It is permitted today.
They said only in Pesach you could do it.
Good. But logically, the logic, we're not going to let you do it on a regular Shabbos, because this Shabbos you're with 20 people, next Shabbos you're going to be with 8 people, the next Shabbos you're going to be 1 people, and you're going to give us a permission. That's why we don't give it to you. But if you can show me that you have a shomer every Shabbos, I will let you. For example, where's the shomer? The blech that we put on the fire. We put a guard, and once there's a guard there, you can put the pot on the fire. So the logic still remains. Over here we won't give it to you in a regular Shabbos, because this Shabbos you have 30 people, next Shabbos you won't have 30 people. On Pesach you always have 30 people.
Right, but give it to me on the Shabbos that I have 30 people.
No, so we don't go to distinguish between Shabbos and Shabbos, because once I allow you on one Shabbos, regular Shabbos, you take the permission to do it on other Shabbos.
No, don't allow the Shabbos, allow the people. Once I have over 30 people, you're allowed to do it.
Again,
the amount of people, how many people?
You're not going to remember. Once I allow you 30 people, 20 people, 10 people, 2 people.
My logic that they let them do, because everybody was in a rush. It's not that the people remember, they didn't have the time to play with everything, because they needed to cook and go, eat whatever you got. Cook,
Interesting to see what the Gemara says. There might be 2 reasons. Because he says 2 things. Look what he says. It says, Zrizim hem veyazkiru ze laze. So it depends how you read it. Yeah. If you put the 2 reasons, I read it, veyazkiru ze laze is the reason for Zrizim. You read it as Zrizim is one reason, and Yakuza. I don't know if that's the reason. I think the reason is that they're going to remind one another, but it might be possible.
That's why it's not with me. Yeah. My logic is different.
It might be possible.
Got you. Okay.
ששבת היום, ולכן אין חוששים שמא יבואו לחטוא בגחלים, because I think it's easier to read my way. Do you know why? It's the same thing with the rabbi and the students with the learning.
With the learning.
Somebody there to remind you. That's the idea. Yeah, but it's possible that there's another reason of Zrizimhem. But the question is, Zrizimhem, what does it mean? I think the Zrizimhem, they're careful not to come to touch the things, but maybe not. Shema yavou lachtot b'gechalim, maybe they're going to come to stir the coals, kedei la'achish et tzliyat haPesach, in order to make it hurry the cooking of the Pesach sacrifice. And also another thing that they're allowed to do, מאחיזין את האור בעצים, they're allowed to start lighting the fire, כלומר שמציתים מעט אש בערב שבת עם חמשכה. That they put in a small fire Friday night close to darkness.
Like a little bonfire.
Yeah. Even though it's going to continue to catch on fire during Shabbat. The bonfire. So you just started it here and it's going to go slowly and get the big bonfire. שמציתים מעט אש במדורת אש שהייתה יוקדת תמיד בלשכת שבעזרה. There was also a bonfire in the courtyard of the temple, שנקראת בית המוקד. It was called the house of the bonfire. Why did you used to have the house of the bonfire? We actually learned this when we were learning the temple. לפי שהכהנים היו מתהלכים יחפים על הרצפה של שיש. The Kohanim you have to walk barefoot in Yerushalayim, and especially now you can imagine, today in Yerushalayim it's all snow, yeah, you're not allowed to wear shoes, so imagine serving in a temple, and it's all shaish in Beit HaMikdash, yeah, it's all stones, and in the houses itself it's all shaish, it's frozen. Now you need the that's right. Today you can actually.
Oh, you can make.
A question is probably you can. I don't see any problem why you're not. There's no separation.
Anyway, they had the ash all the time. You just run the pipes.
Yeah.
Heat and it goes.
Yeah. היו מתהלכים יחפים על הרצפה של שיש, והיו מתחממים שם כנגד המדורה. So they will get cold every couple of minutes. So they will rush out, do the work, and then come in to warm themselves out. ובא משנתנו ללמדנו, and here the Mishnah comes to teach us, שהואיל והכהנים זריזים הם, since the כהנים זריזים, אין חוששים שמא יבואו לחטוא בגחלים בשבת. We're not worried, maybe they're going to come to touch the coals on Shabbat. So what the Arya says, זריזים הם, it says they're careful. That's what you learn זריזים. They're extra careful. The כהנים are extra careful. ולכן מותר להצית מעט אש במדורה, and therefore even before it catches the entire מדורה, they're allowed to do a little bit of fire, כדי שתלך האש ותאחז ברוב המדורה משתחשך, because nobody is going to start flaming the flames because they're careful about it. Either because there's many kohanim there, and they know the rules very good. They're very alert. ובגבולין, this is going to be in the temple. They're allowed. אבל חוץ למקדש, but outside the temple ground, אין מדליקים מדורה בערב שבת. You're not allowed to start working on a fire ערב שבת, because if it doesn't catch, what you're going to do? You'll do this? אלא אם כן יש אפשרות. So only if the fire has time to catch the מדורה, the bonfire, the entire pile, then you're allowed to do it. But if there's a question if it's going to catch on time or not catch on time, don't even start. Because you're going to come to do it. In the temple, they tell you start. The Kohanim know what they're doing. Over there, we trust them.
Because that's their job.
That's their job.
Actually, they do it every day.
I'm not quite sure what zrizim. But we need to look at the Gemara to understand what exactly is this zrizim. Is it that there are many people there, that they're careful? What does it mean?
In the beginning I thought zrizim is because Korban Pesach was zrizim for Korban Pesach. You go cut after cut, you know?
It might be that zrizim might be... Yeah, I think that the word zrizim means experts. Experts. It means they know what they're doing. Okay. In other words, if I come and you ask me, Rami, change brakes on this car, yeah? Okay. So it will take me 3 hours. For me, it will take 3 hours. You know, it might take half an hour. Oh, so you can do it 5 minutes before Shabbos because that's your job. But I think that's what it means. We need to look. We need to look.
Yes.
So I think zrizim means expertise. Yes.
Careful.
Yeah, I know that what the word zeriz in English means, but it doesn't mean that way in the Gemara. I think the Gemara means zeriz means expert in the field. You know what you're doing. You know, for you to start a fire, or for somebody else to start a fire, or for you to load the gun, some people can load the gun in 2 seconds, some people can load the gun in 5 minutes. Whatever the job requires. I think zeriz means over here experts. Okay. כדי שתאחז האור ברובן, so outside of the temple, the fire needs to completely catch the bonfire. דהיינו שרוב המדורה תדלק מבעוד יום, that the majority of the bonfire should be alight when it's still day, עד שתהיה שבת עולם מעליה, until for sure you're going to, sure that this is going to catch. ולא יהיה צורך להוסיף עוד קסמים לאווירה, and you won't need to add small branches, you know, so it doesn't die down. אבל אם לא אחזה האש ברוב המדורה, but if there's the fire did not catch in the big logs, יש לחשוש, you're going to worry, שמא יחטא בה. You might touch it to flame up the flame, so the big logs will catch up. כדי שתעלה השלבת, so that the fire will come up. Rabbi Yehuda אומר, Rabbi Yehuda says, בפחמים כלשהו, when it comes to coal, anything is enough. די שמאחיזים בהם מעט אש עם חשיכה, if when it comes to coal, as long as one of them catches fire a little bit, you don't have to worry. Why? לפי שהם דולקים והולכים מעצמם משטח שח, because one coal is going to get the coal next to him. As long as you got one coal on fire, it's okay. Put it in the bottom, the rest of them are going to catch. ואין חשש אומר הברכת, you don't need, we're not worried that you might come to touch them. Very good.
I actually wouldn't go by Rabbi Yehuda.
You do it? I would.
Because you see the turn, you do. The coal doesn't, you catch one, in the corner, and you see that you wanted to eat, you wanted it's not, you do.
So think the logic. The logic is like this. If you know for sure, that's the logic. Yeah. If you know for sure that the bonfire will catch, that time you don't have to worry about it. That's how they say it.
That's the logic.
That's how you just say, I know for sure the thing is going to catch. It's going to catch not after 5 minutes, after 2 hours. But I know for sure it's going to catch. So once I know for sure it's going to catch, it's enough. That's the logic.
That's the logic. I
Okay.
see. So I don't think right.
That's right. You didn't think correctly.
Okay.
But now that you see the logic, his
now
logic
I
is.
see the logic. The logic is.
Once I know it's for sure it's catch or not going to catch. Over here I know for sure it's going to catch. It's going to take a long time. Okay, so it's going to take a long time.
The logic is not if you're going to do this or not.
Yeah,
touch it or not touch it. Once
That's
the
right.
logic is going to catch, you know that.
That's
and the
right.
pechamim, yeah, it will catch.
That's
eventually.
right. Also over here, if it's just a little bit, I'm not sure it's going to catch on the big logs. So I might come to do something.
Yeah.
So it's the same logic he uses. Now the question, it's a good question to see. Would the Chachamim agree with Rabbi Yehuda or not agree with Rabbi Yehuda? And I'm not sure. How would they agree? If they agree to Rabbi Yehuda. In other words, there is Rabbi Yehuda disagrees with the sages or doesn't disagree with the sages?
בהלכה, כרבי יהודה דהילכה.
Does it say? By me, I don't have it.
פה יש לי את
Let me see.
ברטנורה, אני חושב, למטה.
And what does it say?
זה בארמית.
ואף הפחמים כלשהם, כי היא מקטין בבית המקל לכהנים, כמו כמיות פחמים, מקטין לכל אדם, ואין צריך להאחיז בהם האור, אלא כל שהוא דהן דרכה להיות כבב והולכת. It's not the way. Once it catches, it's never going to come, it's not going to distinguish. והולכת, it's going to only grow. והלכה כרבי יהודה. And the law is like Rabbi Yehuda, and he says, the lay command the paligalia, that even the Chachamim agree with him. So he's not going against. So he's not going against the Chachamim. He explains the Chachamim. He says, you know what the logic of the Chachamim is? That once it will exactly your mistake.
That was exactly what I didn't understand.
That's right.
And
so
that's what Rabbi Yehuda
comes to explain.
the Chachamim.
That's right. So Rabbi Yehuda actually agrees with the Chachamim over there.